Celeb Savant is a career retrospective type interview focusing on singers, actors, and industry experts. Join Barrett Edelstein now as he dives into the entertainment world.
American singer-songwriter Karyn White etched herself into music history with her 1988 smash hit female anthem, Superwoman. Along with Billboard Music and NAACP Imagine accolades, she recently received the 2022 Black Music Honors Soul Music Icon Award. Karyn is hailed as the Queen of New Jack Swing. She's an award-winning, twice Grammy-nominated, platinum-selling, internationally acclaimed music artist, known for being one of the most distinctive and electrifying performers in pop music. As a leading American female artist of the late 80s and early 90s, Karyn has had 3 best-selling albums, multiple number-1 hit singles, and is no stranger to platinum and gold success. Her debut album, Karyn White, went to number 1 on the R&B albums chart and stayed for 7 weeks. Karyn is best known for her platinum-selling single Superwoman, along with other timeless hits including Secret Rendezvous, Romantic, The Way You Love Me, and Love Saw It featuring Babyface. In 2011, she launched Karyn White Enterprises, a dynamic media company offering diverse, uplifting entertainment across music, TV, and film. Beyond being known as a soul music icon, it's Karyn's superstar talent, creativity, and business acumen that continue to build her legacy. Up next on Celeb Savant, we've got Karyn White. Where are you in the world and how are you doing?
Oh, I'm in where am I? Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm doing great. I'm excited about just everything happening right now in my life and new music and just being back in the business full throttle.
What was the decision to say, okay, I want to release new music at this point?
Because I felt like I was ready, first and foremost. You have to have the difference between being able to know that you're ready and then just doing it. So I felt like creating from fullness instead of pressure. I'm independent and I understand ownership and I understand marketing and I understand my audience different. So I feel like it was just the time for me creatively, and that's where I'm at right now. The space is right and the timing's right.
I love what you said about knowing when it's right and just doing it, because I get the sense that so many artists are just doing it instead of knowing when it's right, because as you said, there's that pressure from various people outside of them. Let's rewind now. I know it's been a multi-decade journey in the industry. So at what age, whether as a child or teenager, did you think, okay, I want to be on this path, and the hybrid Karyn White story?
Oh my gosh. Probably she's strong 10 or 11. Always loved singing in church. It started there, and then having older sisters and brothers, it was singing at the holiday events. And every time that you do it, when you're young and you get the praise, it just creates that confidence that maybe I do have what it takes. I thought I did. And then I started to enter into pageants, beauty pageants, talent contests, and in my teens. And so that's how I started. And then, I was able to not just be a singer. I was also went to a school of performing arts during the summer. It was a program for underprivileged children. And that was the training camp and the training ground. And we had to kind of graduate from this. It happened every summer until I graduated high school. That was my foundation into the creative world. And then professionally, I'm going to say with Jeff Lorber, jazz fusion artist, having started with him, learning musicianship and discipline and how to write a hit record. And then I stepped into my solo career, and I feel like I was really, really blessed to have success early. I had, multiple number ones and also touring and being one of the founders of the Queen of New Jack Swing. So I'm very proud of that.
You referenced the discipline a little while ago. How
Hmm.
important do you feel it is to understand that discipline for an artist in the beginning of their career?
Oh my God, it's everything. Discipline is what separates, what makes greatness, I'm gonna say. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of time building and learning and stretching and doing uncomfortable things and, and trial and error. And I think a lot of that is what shapes who you are, if you don't quit, because at that time, at the beginning, it's unknown, it's a lot of faith, and it's a walk of faith. And I was just so blessed to have such talented people around me and learning from these musicians and writers. And being in Los Angeles was a gift because it was something my mom and was able to help me, taking me to all these auditions and bands and meeting, been being in different bands and just pageants. And so I feel like it's extremely important.
You referenced then you started professionally after being in these various bands and different iterations. So when you started professionally in your solo career, were there any aspects of the professional space that surprised you that you did not realize would be part of the process and is and was part of the process?
Yeah, probably the artist development part. That surprised me. It was very tiring because it all had to happen at the same time. And I felt like I had to learn how to be it all, and it was all happening at once, and so I was very tired. When you have success, they don't teach you that part. Like, if your record does start to go, then it's like everything's a go. You don't get any rest. You have to still get up and smile and then go perform afterwards and then do TV shows. So that's probably just how to balance the success. That's really what surprised me because we want to be successful, but what does success really look like?
The new music, tell us all about it. Is it going to be a accumulation to release a full album, or are you still deciding around that?
Oh, the new music. I believe so. I feel like the industry has changed and we're in a single driven culture. So I'm being pretty strategic because I want each record to breathe and I want the audience to digest the music. And when it feels right, like I said, I'm not just doing this just to I have nothing to do. This, it has to be something I feel that is absolutely worth putting out and that's intentional and not rushed. So, but I am going to say I've been on a roll. We have been coming up, with great, beautiful pieces of music. It's been really fun feeling, getting the energy and just the vibration of where I'm at right now with the live music. I'm having so much fun because before I did a lot of producer driven songs. So my producer would hand me the tracks, but I've been creating from the point of me having the idea, totally, the music, just the concepts of the song. And it's been really fun having it really come from my essence and energy. And I'm excited about that. So I just like to wait for it and then hope it comes. And it's been coming. Finally.
Are you collaborating with any other writers or artists?
Not yet. Right now, I've just in the spirit of like just kind of developing really what my direction is. And I have people that I'm thinking about. I would love to work with Raphael Sadiq. He's probably one of my favorite producers. I would love to work with Lenny Kravitz. So I have a dream list. Like I said, it's I'm just kind of letting it come to me. I'm in a very intentional space. And I feel like we'll see as this develops. I'm just really happy to be out here and being back on the charts after 3 decades. I haven't been top. I think I'm 16 this week, Billboard. Yeah, I haven't been six in 3 decades. So I'm kind of enjoying where I'm at and testing out because I feel like, music, the landscape has changed. So, and it's not a lot of legacy artists releasing music commercially on the radio and going in this route. So it's been a lot of discovery. So I'm just kind of taking my time because I am the label. And every decision that I make financially, it's costing for marketing, to put out music, to do these TV shows, to have my band. I can't move as fast as a major. So I have to really feel like it's something that's, we got something strong if I want to try to get a return on my investment to the arts.
I love me a CD. I still budget for my CDs every month. I love the journey of the choice, the unpacking, the booklet, the thank yous, the listening to from song 1 to whatever number. I'm not sure if you are or not aware, there's a massive uptick of physical around the world. 2 years ago in the UK, 5.9 million vinyls sold, the biggest since 1990. Last year, also in the UK, there's a basket of products that they gauge daily exchanges on. There needs to be a high number of exchanges every day for a product to be in the basket, and they monitor it for tax purposes. And because of the upsurge of CDs again, CDs are now back in the basket. And the research is showing it's the teenagers, it's the younger kids diving into this world, not necessarily the older, in inverted commas, nostalgic people. Then we have Spotify and the DSPs that people consume music on. What are your observations of the landscape at the moment?
Wow, I love that. And I get it because it's physical, and the physical is a connection. I think the best music was from the past. I'm sorry to say it. The 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. I'm sorry. It was a very successful time in music. And I think it excites the youth to go back to that time because it was such a diverse, and the music was just it was just a different time in the entertainment industry. And it has changed. I'm really excited about that, the physical and the CDs and what's happening now. I'm excited that, I hope that now, as being a legacy artist, that we can own our own masters. And of course, we can control our narratives and build a direct relationship with our fans. And that's the thing, building direct relationship with the fans. So whatever that looks like, I think that's important because, social media, we do that all the time. And I know I do. I put out a newsletter every week. And I think it's important to feel connected. That's what I think about that. The truth still resonates. And that's really what I think. Real music never dies.
Do you think that the audience needs to have more of an understanding of what's happening in the industry, in the sense that, I'll give you an example. I teach spinning classes, and last year I decided to just do a focus group, cross-cultural, cross-generational, cross types of people, and they mainly listen to music on digital. And I said to these people, I said, if an artist has had 100 million streams of a song, how much money do they think the artist got in their back pocket? And the first group of people said $50 million. And the second group of people said $1 million. And I said, actually, it's more like $1,000, $2,000. That's how much it is. And they were shocked and horrified. I know Ray, I know Snoop Dogg, I know a bunch of different artists are saying, okay, there needs to be a little bit more of a balance of exchange of what's happening. Do you feel that the listening audience needs to have more of an understanding of this?
I think education to them will make them have more compassion. So, because I believe I sell my CD, not my CDs, but I sell those too. But I sell when my music is out. I didn't go straight to DSPs. I sell the singles, and I try to educate them every step of the way so they can understand. It's just like in their business. And if they were selling T-shirts, and someone else said, you got to really give these away, and then, you're going to make your money from just touring, or if you get brand deals, but somebody's making money and it's not us, of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I definitely feel like I think they have more compassion. And when I talk to them, that's why I really look to people like Amanda Palmer in this space, The Art of Asking. If they don't know, like you said, they assume we're these millionaires, and it's like, no, we're really giving away the music. So I think the more that we talk about it, I hope that it changes. I know that I can't rely on the DSPs, and I have a remix right now. I'm going through this same situation where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to put it on DSPs. I think it's such a beautiful piece of art, and we have to make our art valuable. If we don't feel it's valuable, they won't. So I'm going to sell it on my platform, probably turn it into a vinyl piece and put together all the remixes. And it's just the more of us artists that do this and be in this mindset, in this space, I think the better it is for all of us, because we have to value our art, and it should be valued and not just given away for free.
I mean, it's a long process to come up with the creativity of the energy of this piece of work of a song, to then, demo it, be in the studio, musicians, instruments, marketing, visuals, photos, to release one song. A lot of people think, oh, quick. And then, okay, it's been out for 2 weeks. The attention span is now, okay, 30 seconds. Where's the next one? Where's the next one? It's like, no, pause, calm down.
Yes, I love what you're saying. Definitely. Pause, bring it in. That's the same thing where like, what's next? It's like, take it in. But we can't blame them, because that's where we are in today's world. I think the best thing is that when you have to say no, you have to value yourself, and you have to just not put these things out. I mean, it's harder. It's more work selling it, but I think, what are you if you don't really, as an artist, you have to know how to sell today. It's not, we don't have a label. You know what I mean? You have to be all of it. So I really find that it's fun. I try to make it fun. I sell. I continue to ask them. I'm creatively asking them, but I know not everybody knows you have music. And so I became a businesswoman. I left the business for 17 years. So I know that you can't expect. I feel so sorry for like a lot of my legacy artists that are friends, and they'll put something out 3 times and they think like, that's it. I can't keep asking. I'm like, are you crazy? Look at how, any beauty products, you just got to get creative, and not everybody has seen your freaking post.
Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah, because I mean, these days there's so many posts, so much information, that it's just information overload. So the more you put it out there, the more it'll reach and get to the people.
Yes, and have an opportunity. Exactly. Information overload. Exactly. That's where we are.
You're coming to South Africa again. You were here last year. I saw you a couple of years ago at Sunbet Arena. Loved your show. It was amazing. What do you love about performing live, and what do you love about coming back to South Africa?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, performing live is connection. It's nothing like being there, hearing the audience sing your words back to you, especially songs we've lived with them for decades, and live performance is honest. You can't hide behind a production. It's a real exchange of energy. And South Africa has always felt like home. It's so beautiful to me. It's such a spiritual connection. I just feel like every time I've come that it's gotten stronger and stronger, and they chose me. You guys, South Africa has chose me, and I don't take that lightly, because I will mention artists. They're like, who's that? Who's that? So I'm like, I feel so special that my music has resonates. And it's not only, the older audience. That I can be walking in a mall, and a 14-year-old or 15-year-old will know who I am, because on Sundays they have this thing, what is it, Soulful Sundays? Yes. And it keeps the music passing down through generations. I love it. So that's what keeps me coming back, is the love, and just wanting to definitely have that kind of exchange, because it's rare and it's sacred to me.
It's also actually interesting. In Johannesburg, one of the biggest growing radio stations is called Hot 1027. and their remit is old school and R&B. So it's music from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and it's the biggest growing radio station in South Africa. And also, what's also interesting to me is that it seems like the younger generations are tapping more into the older, in inverted commas, music, which is classic and evergreen. I remember I was at a concert for a younger artist or more of an upcoming artist, and there was a few artists on the lineup. It's sort of like a music festival. An artist would perform, they would go off the stage, another, artist would sort of set up, do sound check and come on. And in between the bands or artists, they would play more current songs. And then I noticed when they played Take On Me from Aha, and it was all teenagers. They went crazy with the more current stuff. They were like, whatever. But when it was the 80s stuff, they went absolutely mad. It was fascinating to watch.
I get it. Like I said, that music was incredible. I mean, we really, just that time, all the different genres and the energy of all the different artists, it was so eclectic and so diverse, but yet so amazing. So you said this was, one more time, Hot 102.7 in Joburg?
Yes, so the radio station is called Hot 1027.
Oh, wonderful. Got you. That's some good information. I love that you're giving me all this data about music and the youth and how that's I think it's great. I think the record companies that they need to hear this, right?
Yes.
They've forgotten about legacy artists. Everything is so youth driven, this business, and to hear that, I'm like, I told you, like that they're just, that music and that time is so blessed to grow up in that era,
Exactly. I read an article 2 years ago, and in this article, it referenced only female artists, not male, only female. And it was the top radio stations in the UK, BBC One, Capital Radio, I can't remember, a couple of them. And in the article, they said that they will not play female artists older than the age of 30 because the radio stations perceive that they're no longer relevant. Now, this is 2 years ago. I was also reading Bananarama's autobiography, and this was in the 80s when they were the age of 23, 24. They were dropped by the record label because they were told that they're too old and no longer relevant. Now, this was in the 80s, and this was 2 years ago. I do believe that social media is breaking down those barriers a bit, because Kylie Minogue came out with Padam Padam, I think 2-3 years ago. The radio stations in the UK refused to play her because she's 55 years young, I'll say young, but then she blew up on social media, and because of it blowing up, the radio stations were forced to play her. Hearing all this crazy information, what are your thoughts around it?
Wow. I mean, okay. That's something. I didn't know that it would be said that way, over 30, but I guess that is actually a truth that we all have seen. I mean, that you have your exceptions, Madonna, Janet, Whitney, some of the greats from my generation. But then in the States, if you're talking about radio, maybe that is the reason why there aren't many legacy artists. Let me know. Look, I want to know, because financially, I need to pivot and understand that you're fighting against a machine, right? And social media is, like you said, TikTok. I'm actually having my team. We're having a discussion about that now. About, we need Karyn. You got to let them know who is Karyn White to the youth, and they're really obsessed with that, the eras in the 90s and all this stuff. So it really does make me see that you got to go to alternative. You got to go where you're celebrated,
Yes.
not tolerated. That's what it shows me, and I'm so glad that I understand that that's a mindset that's real. Okay, because I think I'm the cool girl.
No. But on the flip side, though, not only in South Africa, I know in the UK, also the greatest hits radio station, they are blowing up and massive as well. So you have these radio stations that are compacting the stereotype and compacting the labels. But then on the flip side, you've got these other ones that are saying, no, rubbish. And they are massive and big. So you've got those two scenarios happening.
Oh, wonderful. So you have the two, because like Annie Lennox and I've been seeing, Cyndi Lauper, she just got a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
So either embracing it on one hand, right? Like you said, the Joburg station. So there's either or. Okay, well, that's great as long as they're giving the audience an opportunity, then we get to pick. But wow, okay, so it really, ageism is very real, right? In this business.
Having these discussions and letting everyone hear about it, it'll break the walls and break the barriers, I feel.
Yeah, the walls, yes.
I love this next game. I know if I had to ask you this question tomorrow or the next day or the next day, I know your answer will be different every time. I understand that and I recognize that. I'm not saying favorite. I'm saying top of mind. If once we finish this conversation, you want to listen to 5 other artists, past or present, bands or solo artists, people who've passed away, etc., who would those 5 artists be?
Yeah, okay. Dionne Warwick, Say a Little Prayer. Oh my God, A Million Things from Prince. Oh God. Okay, I'll just say When Doves Cry. Earth, Wind and Fire. She's so many. Who else? I'm loving Ray right now, what she's doing. And Luther Vandross. Oh my God, and I forgot Jill Scott. I've been obsessing over her new project. So yeah, Jill Scott.
The podcast is listened to throughout the world. As a final message, what would you like to say?
Wow. Okay, this podcast is, I'd like to say thank you for being such a voice for us artists, legacy artists. And this is always important for me to hopefully reflect on my life and share some of my past and present work. And so thank you for the opportunity. And I just encourage everyone to have faith over fear, and don't let anything stop you. You can if you say you can. And if you do nothing, it's so simple, nothing will happen. So do something every day.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Celeb Savant. Please follow Barrett on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Celeb Savant. That's CelebSavant.